Hey, you guys, welcome back to my podcast. This is Coach Adamir, and I'm so happy to be back from my vacation. Not that I was not happy over there. I went to El Salvador and did not want to come back, but I am happy to be back. And truth be told, you guys, I meant to record this before I left to leave you guys with something while I was gone, but I just didn't get around to it. Let's be real. I didn't prioritize, so that's my fault. But I'll make it up to you guys. I am going to publish at least 2 to 3 in the next 2 weeks. All right. So that way I can get ahead of schedule. Right. If you're new to the podcast, if this is your first episode tuning in, first of all, thanks for joining us. I really hope you learned something today. I've told my listeners and all my clients in the past, my intention with this podcast is to just help improve the lives of others as best that I can, to the best of my ability, just providing honest, factual information. And then, of course, I'll give my honest opinion on how I feel about certain things, maybe certain products that I talk about on here, or certain theories or whatever, right? Whatever we get to talk about. That being said, today I want to talk about energy in our bodies and how we can get more of it. I know one of the things that people always talk about, or an obstacle when it comes to training, is I just don't have the energy. And I get it. I totally understand that. So what I want to do is kind of give you a breakdown of how our body uses energy, and then how we can get more of it and what we can do to improve our energy stores. All right, so let's go over how our body uses energy. The first thing I'll mention here is the first law of thermodynamics, and what that is that energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be transferred or converted from one form to another. All right, so when we consume energy in the form of food, it doesn't necessarily get destroyed, right? We don't just digest it and it disappears. It turns into something else in our bodies. All right, there are chemical energies in our body, and what that's called is ATP, adenosine triphosphate. If you listen to the creatine episode, I think it was the last one, you'll be a little more familiar with what ATP is and what I'm talking about. If you don't, go back and listen to it. If not, you'll get a brief breakdown right now, but that way you get a little more understanding if you want to go back and listen to that episode. So we get energy from food, proteins, carbs, and fats. All right, those are our primary sources of energy. And our body uses 3 different energy systems to convert that food into ATP, into adenosine triphosphate, our body's energy. All right. There are 3 energy systems that we have. The first one is ATP PC, and that's our immediate energy system. The PC in that is phosphocreatine. Again, go back to that episode on creatine. You'll get a breakdown of what PC is as well. That's stored within the tissues of our bodies. All right. So when exercise is done and energy is expended, the PC in our tissues is used to replenish the ATP. So think of it almost like a reserve tank, right? Our ATP is our fuel tank, and then the PC is our reserve tank, if we had a reserve tank in our car. I think I do, because I drove on 0 miles yesterday for maybe 10, 12 miles, because pre-vacation, Adamir said, filling up your car is post-vacation Adamir's problem. Thanks a lot, buddy. I know some of you are going to laugh at that. I know specifically one person who's going to laugh at that one. Back to ATP. The average athlete has about 285 grams of stored ATP within their entire body. The only problem with that is that it's going to be consumed in just a few seconds of work, typically about 10 seconds of work. So like, think of a 100-yard dash, right? 10 seconds of hard sprinting, that 285 grams of stored ATP is completely depleted. All right, so if you need a supplement, creatine monohydrate, that can increase the amount of PC stored in the muscles. All right, so creatine is a great supplement for endurance athletes, for strength training athletes, for the general population, honestly. All right, go back to that episode on creatine. I'll tell you all about it. All right, the second system we use is our glycolytic system. That's also known as anaerobic glycolysis, and that uses carbohydrates to produce ATP. All right, so what glycolysis is, it's the breakdown of glucose into 2 ATP and what's called pyruvate molecules. So 2 pyruvate molecules. And the glycolytic system is actually the human body's preferred energy system when any sort of exercise is required. So when it comes to strength training, when it comes to running, the body is going to prefer using the glycolytic system and using carbohydrates as energy. All right, so that breakdown we talked about, those 2 pyruvate molecules that are produced, any excess pyruvate is unused and converted into lactic acid. Most of us are familiar with what lactic acid is, or what it feels like, that burn in our muscle tissue when we're doing wall sits, for example, or planks, right? And that lactic acid is carried into our third energy system to produce more ATP. All right, our third energy system is our aerobic system. We'll get into that, but just so you know, the glycolytic system takes a few seconds to get up and running. So think of it as like your engine warming up when you turn it on in cold weather. It takes a little bit for it to get up and running, but you can utilize that energy system for up to 2 minutes of work. So once your ATP PC system is depleted after those 10 seconds, you use your glycolytic system for up to 2 minutes. After those 2 minutes, you get into your aerobic system. All right, now the bulk of ATP is produced by the human body, and it's done through aerobic processes, which means it requires oxygen. The first 2 systems, they're anaerobic. They don't require oxygen. The aerobic system requires it, otherwise it's going to slow down and just stop completely. So if you're not intaking oxygen, or you're low on oxygen when running long distances, if you're deconditioned, you're going to slow down. Your body is probably going to be like, hey, I'm done, man. Don't have enough oxygen. All right, and that takes anywhere from 1 to 3 minutes to get up and running completely. So after those 2 minutes are depleted, you're probably running half a mile or a mile. So the speed, I'm sorry, got lost for a second. That takes anywhere from 1 to 3 minutes to get up and fully running. And then the speed and efficiency of the aerobic system depends on the person's aerobic conditioning. So if you haven't ran in a long time, it's going to be much harder for your aerobic system to be efficient and for it to get up and running at the time you need it. All right. The good thing about this system is it's almost self-sustaining. All right. It's capable of providing its own ATP for long periods of time. So when you're running a marathon or like a triathlon and you're doing those long distance, your body is eventually producing its own ATP because you're continuously consuming oxygen. Pretty cool, right? All right, now that's all fine and dandy, coach, but how do I have more energy? Like, great, I know how to use it, but I don't have enough, right? I hear that all the time. So there's several things we can do that are going to have an impact on giving us more energy throughout the day. And while it may seem crazy and like a weird paradox, like you're in the upside down, exercising more is going to increase your energy. So yes, even though you're getting tired while training, you end up having more energy throughout the day. And there's several reasons for that. I'm going to go over that, okay? The best part about exercising, though, is not only that it's going to improve your health and your mood, it's also going to improve your sleep, which is going to have a significant impact on your energy levels. I did an episode on sleep, I think at the beginning of the year. So go back through the catalog, check that one out too. I'll go over a little bit on that today, but there's a whole episode on sleep that you guys got to check out. All right, so when it comes to exercise, it's going to boost your body's fitness and also your mood, which are both going to contribute to your overall health and your well-being. Right? When you feel good, you just feel good, right? When you feel good physically, you feel good mentally. All right, when you exercise, there's an increase in endorphin levels, and endorphins are our body's hormones that get released when we're doing something that requires a big burst of energy. And those endorphins contribute to feelings of euphoria that people commonly call runner's high. Now, look, I don't like running. You can't catch me running outside for nothing. So I don't necessarily know the runner's high there, but I do know that people talk about it all the time. My wife mentions it all the time when she goes running. She feels that runner's high and then she can keep going. I feel that when I'm on the soccer field, right? Most people feel that when they're playing sports. They get that feeling of euphoria when they're playing. That's the release of endorphins. So it's good for you, right? You feel good. The other thing it's going to help with is better heart health, right? Exercise is going to boost your cardiovascular health. We talk about our aerobic system needing oxygen. If we don't get enough oxygen, that system doesn't work. And if we don't have a good aerobic system, we're not going to get that oxygen. So it's going to boost that cardiovascular health by continuously exercising. So it's going to allow for greater endurance through the day, right? When it's easier to do your daily task and get through your day because you have more energy, you'll have more energy left at the end of the day for whatever's left over. Spending time with your family, going to the gym, taking a walk, whatever it is you need to do, you'll have more energy. You'll also notice sharper focus throughout your day. All right, mentally, we just feel more energized and ready to take on anything after a workout because the endorphins have boosted our physical energy levels. We just feel so good. We just want to go out and tackle the world. All right, there's a study of older adults in a program of 24 weeks of exercise, and it showed improved cognitive function, including concentration. Who wouldn't want to be able to concentrate more throughout the day? I know a lot of us lose concentration, right? So exercise, go for a walk. It'll definitely help boost that endorphin, boost your focus, boost your energy level. Exercise has also been shown to lower the incidence of depression. All right, exercise is associated with the release of what's called neurotransmitters in your brain and proteins, and those are basically neurotrophic factors, and those cause nerve reactions to take place in your in your brain, and they make new connections. When we make new connections in our brain, we're creating newer memories, newer functions, and it plays a role in reducing depressive symptoms, right? When our when our brain is creating new neural pathways, it's functioning at a high level, all right? And that helps us to feel less depressed if we experience those symptoms on a daily basis. Along with like group exercise, right? So if you don't like to exercise on your own, take a class. Find a park that has a class. Find my gym here in Chatsworth that has classes. It'll help elevate your mood. You'll be around a group of people. You're not by yourself. You get to have a little bit of competitiveness in a sense, right? So take a group class. The psychological part of exercise has been shown to directly correlate with energy levels. All right, you feel better, you feel more energy. It's just cause and effect. All right, and then the last one here, when you exercise, it's going to improve your sleep. All right, when you exercise and you're tired, you're going to get a better night's rest, right? Your body's physically exhausted, so you sleep deeper. When you get a high quality sleep, you're definitely going to feel more refreshed throughout the day. There was a study in the Journal of Sleep Research, and it found that people with insomnia who engaged in a minimum of 150 minutes per week, that's like 3 to 4 hours of exercise, of moderate intensity exercise, it reduced the severity of insomnia symptoms and it elevated their mood. So, good idea to exercise? I think so. So, like I said, I wanted to get a little more in depth on how sleep can help. The first one is sleep's going to help to stabilize your blood sugar. All right. Poor sleep quality has been linked to obesity and weight gain. So if you're having trouble losing weight and you think you're doing all the right things as far as your calorie intake, as far as exercising, making sure you're eating the right foods, but you still seem to not be losing weight, then let's look at how your quality of sleep is going. Are you getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep? Are you getting 7 to 8 hours full sleep, or are you cutting it short by waking up throughout the night? All right. So when you sleep poorly, you have an increase in caloric intake the next day because you need more energy. So you feel like, okay, I need to get energy from somewhere, but you don't increase your activity level because you're so freaking exhausted. All right, and the problem when it comes to being tired and not having enough sleep is that your body naturally is going to crave sugar to give you that boost of energy. Again, not only do we increase our caloric intake, we increase it by adding sugar in our diet, and that's just going to mean poor food choices and then not fueling our body with the necessary nutrients to get the rest and energy that it needs. So with a good night's rest, your body's going to have a better chance at maintaining blood sugar levels, and it's going to prevent you from crashing throughout the day. The second thing is you're going to see when you sleep better is it's going to improve your mood. All right, when you're sleep deprived and you just didn't sleep well the night before, you're probably not fun to be around in the morning, right? No matter how many cups of coffee you have. All right, you also tend to have a tougher time just controlling your overall emotions throughout the day. All right, if you don't get enough sleep, your body boosts its levels of stress hormones. So you're actually adding stress hormones into your body by not getting enough sleep. All right, so when you sleep deeper, it also tells the brain to stop producing stress hormones. All right, so deep sleep, less stress. Less stress, you're more calm. When you're more calm, you have a more settled mood and you have more energy to take on what's coming and not feel like it's just going to be a terrible day. So when you're in a good mood, you're also more likely to be more active. You're going to be more social. You're going to make better choices when it comes to eating. The third thing you'll notice, sleep is going to boost your productivity and your memory. Now, when we sleep, our body is at rest, but our brain doesn't necessarily rest. Sure, it cuts back on its activities and what it's doing, but what it's also doing is it's building new neuron connections to create long-term memories and solve the problems that we have encountered through the day. So if we have tasks that we just maybe didn't finish throughout the day for work, for the house, for the family, whatever it is, and we get a good night's sleep, there's a high possibility that the next day you'll find a solution to that problem you had. Almost like it just comes to you, right? Like you're like, oh, why wasn't that there yesterday? Because your brain wasn't able to create the long-term memories and solve the problems while it slept. Give your brain some time, right? But the only way to do that is go to sleep and sleep well. Because when you're well rested, your brain becomes sharper, you're more alert, and then you're able to process things a lot faster, and it's going to help your productivity. Right? The more productive you feel, the more willing you are to take on more throughout the day, because you also have that extra energy. And then two more here. Sleep's going to is going to help prevent disease. So while you sleep, your immune system releases proteins called cytokines. And these are proteins that need to increase when you have an infection or an inflammation in the body. So if you're not sleeping, your body's not producing cytokines. When you get an infection, there aren't enough to help fight that infection. All right. So sleep deprived, production of cytokines goes down, and it also decreases the infection fighting antibodies and cells that we need. So get some sleep and you'll be able to reduce your chances of getting sick. Long-term lack of sleep also increases the risk of obesity, diabetes, and heart and cardiovascular related diseases. All right, because when our body is busy fighting off disease and sickness, we just don't have enough energy to go out about our day. All right, so get some sleep. You'll have a healthier immune system. You'll reduce your chances of obesity. You'll reduce your chances of diabetes and any other cardiovascular related diseases. All right, and the last thing we'll notice here is sleep is going to increase your stamina and your performance. REM sleep provides energy to both the brain and the body. All right, it has a significant impact on physical development, emotional regulation, cognitive performance, and quality of life. So make sure you're getting quality sleep, but also lengthy sleep, right? You want at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep. So if you increase your sleep duration and you improve your sleep quality, you're going to have improved performance throughout the day. And if you exercise, you'll have less risk of injury as well. Well, that's it, you guys. That's all I have for you. Hopefully you understand and realize how we can get more energy through the day. We just have to prioritize the things in our lives to get us to where we need to be. So if we need to go to sleep a little bit earlier, block time off, set a boundary, right? My phone goes on sleep mode at 9 o'clock. And if I get any messages after that, sorry if I miss it, right? But, waking up early is difficult when you go to bed late. So I make sure I go to bed at a certain time so that I wake up at the same time, but I still have restful sleep. I exercise every day, so I make sure I get restful sleep. It's a cycle, but it's a beneficial cycle. And I think that if you prioritize those things in your life, you'll notice a huge difference. So if you have any questions ever, please don't hesitate to reach out to me on Instagram at Coach Adamir. You can also check out my bio right there. I have a couple links. There's merchandise now. There's gear. I have t-shirts, sweaters, hats, beanies, cell phone cases, stickers. Check it out on my bio. I'll try to put it up on my Spotify profile as well, and any other related bios. But if you go to my Instagram at Coach Adamir, the link tree is on there. Or you can go to linktr.ee-Coach Adamir 21, and that'll take you to that little web page where you can check out some supplements also that are on there that I use myself that I recommend. You'll get a 10% discount if you order through that link. So check it out. And then also my class schedule is on there. If you're in the area, if you're in the Chatsworth area and you want to come take classes, you want to come train, you want to do private training, I'm here for you. Just reach out to me. Also, if you end up buying some merch, there's a active discount code right now up through Sunday, December 11th. If you use code COACH at checkout, you'll get 10% off whatever items you buy. So load up. I think shipping's only $5. So order as much as you can in one order. Otherwise, one at a time's fine, but don't rack up shipping charges. Anyways, appreciate you guys. Love you guys. Thanks for tuning in. So just remember, you guys, love yourself and go be the best version of yourself. Bye.